letting somebody down, I don't know how you would let them down. I think you're starting to get into some very natural fear and doubt because you're new, because you would be a rookie, right? And you're going, oh, I don't want to fail.
Right.
But I think you stepping into real estate strategically is the key.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for you to win in real estate, at some point you're going to need to go full time and give it everything you got.
Mm-hmm.
You can't win part-time in real estate. You can get started, but I think the fact that you're not sure what you want to do, real estate is an interesting option because you can dabble in that and learn enough part-time without having to go all in. But at some point, once you realize that real estate is it, you would need to go full-time. So that's going to come down to finances. So what needs to be true for you financially for you to eventually go into real estate full-time if, in fact, you want to go into it? What's competing? If you look at real estate and you knew that you were going to win, would anything really be competing with it? If you knew you couldn't fail and you knew you were going to crush it?
No, that would be my number one.
I thought that was obvious, and that's why I asked it that way. So for me, it's really the proximity principle and getting around other realtors, maybe a potential broker or two that's going to sign you up, and really doing your homework and doing as much as you can to learn about it day to day, day in, day out. What's it like? What's the great parts about it? What's the awful part? And really clarifying and verifying, which I think you probably have done. I think this really boils down to you're going, oh, what if I don't win? And I think you have to go, well, what would have to be true for me not to win? It would be not learning, not hustling. Not hustling, not learning. Because if you learn the trade and you really bust your tail, I don't know what would stop you. And financially, what has to be true for you to be able to go full time? Have you played that out?
Yeah, so getting out of the military, I built up an emergency fund in order to cover my monthly expenses, and while I get started, I have about 6 months worth of living expenses in my savings right now, just because I know it's very unstable. So I have that.
What are you currently working anywhere else?
No, currently not. I'm currently on terminal leave. So the Navy will pay me for about another month, and then, on my own at that point.
And you got your licensing and everything ready to go as far as real estate goes?
I'm in the middle of my licensing for my.
How much longer is that going to take?
Right now, I would project it to be a couple months.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to transition from the military to the real estate by getting yourself a day job, because I don't want you to touch that emergency fund unless it's a true emergency. And I mean, your car breaks down, you have something happen to your house or your apartment that maybe you would be responsible for, whatever your situation is. I would prefer you not touch that emergency fund. I'd prefer that you make enough money, just, basic job while you're finishing up your licensing for real estate. Do you understand what I'm saying? And even if it's a part-time job, that would allow you to go all in on real estate. Because I just don't want you to touch that emergency fund. Now, if you say, Ken, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Instead of having a 6-month emergency fund, I'm going to turn it into a 3-month emergency fund, which is what we teach, 3 to 6 months. And you need to live off of some of that, fine. But I would not go below 3 months. So essentially, you take half of that emergency fund and you turn that into kind of a floating fund. This is going to help float me, but I got to sell a house. I got to sell a house in the first 3 months. I've got to fill my pipeline up in the first 3 months, and again, you got to go all in at some point. So I don't know if you work, if you can get a full-time job and stack another month or two, away and live really, really low, below your expenses. I don't care how you do it. My point is, at some point, you're going to need to go all in on real estate. And I also don't want you to burn through your thing. And you're right, it's a highly competitive market. I'd go find out. I'd talk to some successful realtors who are willing to they're not intimidated by somebody coming in the market. They're super successful. I'd get a ballpark idea about how long it's going to take you to build up a pipeline. I'd like you to know that, because you can get trained coming out of the military, and you can do some more learning and connecting and kind of building up a little bit, and then, save a little bit more money so that you don't eat up. I just don't want you to burn through your emergency fund. That's what it boils down to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it might take you 6 months to sell your first house. I don't know. I don't know what realistic is. I guess if you're hungry and you're getting after it and you don't let fear dominate you, because here's the thing. You've identified your fear, which is good. But you can't let that keep you from signing clients up, listing clients and people that are buying. You can't show any of that fear to them. You got to sign them up and go get them a house. So I say go all in, but go all in when financially you're ready to go all in. Make sense? And I don't think that's long from now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the call. I think you're going to do great. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. Let's go to Tessa in Rathdrum, Idaho. I hope I said that right. Tessa, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Thank you. Yeah, you did say it right.
Great. What's going on, Tessa?
So I am getting into coaching right now. I'm actually in the middle of my certification.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be done July 10th.
What kind of coaching?
Well, see, there's not like a specific niche for it. In the course anyway. The course is just like to become a certified coach. The coaching I specifically want to do is leadership coaching. I have been really immersed in leadership and leadership development over the last 2.5 years.
Okay.
And have been reading and studying and meeting with people. And
have you been leading anybody?
See, that's the thing, is I haven't directly led anyone as far as a team.
Okay.
But the people who I'm surrounded by, yes. So my friends and family, they will come to me for advice, and they seem open to my feedback and opinion or whatever it is.
Tell me about this.
And I've led from the middle.
So this organization, is this an online program?
It's a local program. We are doing it virtually, it's a local leader.
Is it credible?
And his team. I believe so, yes.
He's teaching you how to be a leadership coach? Or just a coach?
Just a coach.
So really coaching, he's teaching basically the coaching concepts for you and how you ask questions, how you, build on it, how you encourage, how you equip, all that kind of stuff. He's kind of teaching you you could coach anybody with what I'm teaching you.
Yeah, and he goes through the ICF competencies.
Okay,
and
good. ICF, okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so that's legitimate. But here's the challenge.
Yeah.
You want to build a business on this.
Correct.
You have any idea how much you're going to charge?
So I have started taking just pro bono, 4-week free sessions.
Good.
Right now.
And these are these leaders?
So no, well, one of them is, but I haven't actually started leading her directly yet.
Okay.
I used to work with her, just kind of helping her out.
Yeah.
But now she's going to become a coaching client, pro bono. She might sign on. And I don't know as far as starting pay, how much I should charge. In my head, I'm hearing $500 a month until I'm more confident and comfortable.
How many sessions? How many sessions do you get? So basically, you need to get to a point. You need to get to a point where you have an hourly rate. So I coach, and this is what I charge per hour.
Yeah. So that hour or that $500 is for 4 1-hour sessions, so weekly.
Okay. So your hourly rate is
$125.
Yeah. So that's not bad. That's certainly a good place. So I was thinking $100 an hour is probably where you would start. That's kind of your baseline.
Okay.
I would talk to this coach who's training you on that. So I think that's okay. But what you got to do is you got to go, well, in order to make what I need to make, how much am I going to need to charge a month?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so you just need a real picture. Have you run that exercise?
Well, right now I'm actually not even producing any income for our family, and my husband's supporting us.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. So you're not in a job right now, so there's no pressure on you to make money on this. This is going to be gravy anyway.
Correct.
Okay, great news. That's all I needed to know. So I listen. I love the pro bono play. I think you need to get a minimum of 5 of those where you're coaching a business leader. Great. 7's even better.
Yeah.
5 to 7. I love 7. And let's coach 7 different leaders or business people. And let's get 2 things we're looking for. Number 1, we need the experience of actually taking what you've been learning, and now let's actually get experience doing it, because experience is everything. It's everything in coaching. Okay? Everything. So you want to do it as much as you can. And I would be patient, because you don't need the money right now. So be patient. Try to keep those people. Try to keep those 7 clients at least 6 months. You need that experience, because you're going to learn so much. You're going to take everything you've learned, then you're going to develop your own style. And that style only develops over time. So I would coach for at least 6 months. If you can't, let's see if you can keep a client, because here's the key. You only win in coaching when you keep people coming back. And you can't scheme people. You can't drag it out. You got to deliver the goods. And that leads to the second thing that this is going to do for you. You need the experience, but you also need results. You're going to have to be able to point to results, not just for your clients, but for you to see, oh, I did this. They're giving me feedback that I helped them do this, this, and this. That is going to give you the confidence you need to actually charge and be okay if somebody walks away from your price, because you know you're going to deliver the goods. So I like where you're headed. That's the direction I would go. You have 0 pressure on you. That's the ideal situation where you have no financial pressure on you. People that get into coaching and they rely on it as their livelihood, it's not good. So not good. That pressure is too much. And then everybody turns into somebody that, it's like you're a vampire walking around looking for somebody to suck blood from. And that's just not how coaching works. You will build your business on those first 7 people that will refer you, the first person that pays you, the second person that pays you. That's how you build your business.
Okay.
You build your business not through marketing and social media. And you can do all those things. But you'll really build your business by people going, hey, Tessa's amazing. And they start recommending you to their friends. That's how you build a business. Results. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. So do you feel like I should be in? Okay. Do you feel like I'm in my own way because I've never been a leader myself, like of a organization or a team?
I think it's challenging.
I've only led from the middle.
I think it's challenging, but not absolutely necessary. Because look, I don't want to take a knock at higher education, but there are professors that are teaching theories and stuff, and there are professors in business schools that have never run a business. So it's not impossible. But I do think that's a challenge for you, that you've never led a team of people. And I at some point, I think it's probably a good idea for you, maybe even, as silly as it seems, but just lead a team of people. Maybe do retail management or something. Get into a place where you're leading people. If you can't do that, if you go to church, start leading volunteers. Be intentional to lead a team of volunteers at your church or at a nonprofit locally. Here's why. If you can effectively lead volunteers, people who don't have to show up, now you're really leading. But yeah, you need some real life leadership experiences so it can inform how you'll coach. But you can coach a leader without having a ton of leadership experience. You can, because coaching is it's a form of counseling. You know this now. But ideally, you're going to be a better coach if you've actually had to lead people and deal with the same frustrations they're dealing with. 844-747-2577 is the number. Quick break. When we come back, in the news and maybe more of your calls. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show, where we help you move from paycheck to purpose. 844-747-2577 is the number. Hey, you know what else we help you do? We bring guests to you that can help you. We bring resources to you that can help you. And we introduce you to partners. And I'm really excited for those of you, you're going, there's 9.3 million jobs right now. More on that in a second. It's time. I know it's time to make the move, but the hiring process and just putting myself out there and searching, it's just awful. Quite frankly, it sucks. Yep, you're right. But ZipRecruiter has come in and they have streamlined the process. It's the reason of the number one hiring site in the world. ZipRecruiter.com is where you go and you sign up for free in just minutes. Once the profile and the resume are uploaded, they're going to look for companies that are looking for you. They match you to companies. Not only do they match you, they connect you and get out of the way. Once a company sees your profile and ZipRecruiter's out there recruiting for you, they're pushing you, pitching you, matching you with their unbelievable technology. And then when a company goes, yep, I'm interested, the company can contact you directly. This is easy and it is effective. Tens and tens of thousands of people are getting hired every day. ZipRecruiter.com. Go right now, one click, and you're off and running. Consider this a part of your overall strategy that I teach you about every day. They're number one for a reason. They've taken the suck out of the search. Go to ZipRecruiter.com today. 844-747-2577 is the number. And before we get back to the phones, let's go. More data coming out saying this is the time to make the move. It's time for In the News. Headline from Business Insider. It's the easiest time to find a job since just before the pandemic. This is what people are feeling. The New York Fed did a survey. The average perceived chance of losing one's job fell to 12.6% in May. So people are like, hey, I'm not going to lose my job. We're back, baby. Things are solid. This is consumer opinions now. Understand that the data is showing that this is the easiest time to find a job. Why? I mentioned this moments ago. Job openings sat at 9.3 million at the end of April. So that's the latest update on that number. 9.3 million jobs. And you ready for this? Also, a record in payroll growth and actual pay. Average hourly earnings have boomed through the spring as business raised wages to attract workers. And this is the fastest 2-month wage growth since 1983. And I'm going to tell you what this boils down to. Some of my lib friends will go, I told you so. But the government started talking about raising minimum wage, and we got to raise wages. And unemployment benefits have been extended. And those two things have companies going, I got to get people off the couch into the office. How do I do it? I raise wages. Now, before anybody gets too excited about that development, understand that has a effect on the economy as well. Woohoo! They're raising wages. Yeah, guess what else they raise? Prices. And thus we see inflation spiking big time. Now, I think this is temporary. I don't even think this is actual inflation. And pardon me for being an amateur economist here. I don't think we're headed into a prolonged season of inflation. I think this is short term, because we had an artificial shutdown in a global economy where we just literally stopped manufacturing things. So the demand has increased as we come back online, if you will. But there's some catch up. So this is basic economics. High demand, low supply, prices go up. Just that simple. We see this at the gas pump. Is the easiest way we see this. So anyway, bottom line is, why do I share this with you? Listen, now's the time to make the move. Now's the time. We talked about this earlier in the week that, a lot of people are going, hey, the pandemic helped me get perspective, and I want to do something different. I want to do work that I love. I want to make the difference that I long to make through my work. That's a big part of it. But this is the other side. It goes, now's the time to do it. Companies are going to pay you more now than they would have a year ago, before the pandemic, year and a half ago. They're going to pay you more. Why? They need workers. Hey, now's the time, baby. You're going to get signing bonuses. You're going to get great benefit packages above and beyond higher wages. So it's not just easy because there's so many jobs. Listen, it's easy to make more money now. So there you go. If you got some fears, some doubts about that, best way to do it, that's why I'm here. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Kyle, who joins us in Amarillo, Texas. Kyle, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. I'm 18. I'm 18. I'm about to turn 19. I don't really know what my true calling is. I kind of know what I might could go into, but I'm not so, sure on where I should go in my career.
Well, that's okay, because you're barely 19. You're almost 19, and so it's okay to be very uncertain here because you have a lot less life experience. So I'll tell you what, we're going to look for some clues. And if we can't come up with something super specific, I'm okay with that because you're 19. But I think we'll come up with some directions for you to look into. How's that sound?
Yes.
And we might just find out what it is.
Yes.
So let's start with what you said a moment ago. You have an idea. You kind of use that language. What's that thing that's floating around in your head and heart?
Honestly, because I've always wanted to start my own business. It's kind of been a dream to me.
What is it? Wait a second. Now we're talking about a dream? This is what I need to know, Kyle. What are we dreaming about? And don't be hesitant. I get it. You're almost 19, and you mentioned how young you were twice in the first 30 seconds. And I want to tell you something. I think I know where that's coming from right now. Let me just take a stab. You've actually had a dream for a good while. Good grief, you've only been on the planet 18 years. But for a several amount of those 18 years, you've had a real clear dream. And either someone has poo-pooed it, or someone has been, maybe they haven't poo-pooed it, but maybe they've just been a little bit like, okay, and kind of dismissive, but not. Or, so that has happened.
Yes.
Yeah. And then as a result, you're starting to doubt whether or not you can actually pull it off. And your heart's going, yes, yes, yes. And your head's going, whoa, Sparky, slow your roll.
Yes.
Oh, wow. How did I know that? So here's the deal. For the rest of this time, for these couple of minutes we're together, you got to promise me that you're going to let your heart talk to me and forget about what anybody else thinks. Including me.
I will.
Including me. Because all I want to do is get inside your heart. And then we'll go through this. So what is the dream? And I don't want you to be cautious. I want you to be confident. What's this dream?
Okay. I'll tell you all the details. I've wanted to start my own clothing line, like a clothing business. Okay. I've seen a lot of people do it through Shopify, starting a little Shopify store and then, branching off into opening many little stores in, across select states.
So you've seen it done. You've seen it done. That's really good.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I also like cooking.
All right. Talk to me about that. What would you do in cooking?
I've always, when I was little, I had different little dreams that I wanted to do when I was little. And, over time, in my heart, I've always believed that I could do a little bit more. Like I'm different from the world. Like that's my feeling. Is
of course you're different.
And because I could branch off into many different branches.
Yeah, but you didn't answer my question. Talk to me about cooking. What would you do?
My grandma had some recipes that were my favorite. I learned cooking from her. My dad learned some cooking from my grandma, and I'm really good at cooking. I know how to cook the best kind of brisket. I know how to cook the biggest, juiciest steak in the world.
What do you love most about cooking?
I like the creative side.
I knew that. Side. What do you love most about clothing?
The creative side.
Yeah.
The creative side is always the best side.
Yeah. One of your top talents is imagination. True or false?
Yes.
Yeah, man. You live in the clouds, which is a good thing. You're imagining what clothes could look like, what they should look like. You're imagining what a meal should taste like, what it even looks like. There's a creative thread there. Is there any other big dream besides clothing and cooking?
I love music. I'm very creative in music.
How? Are you play an instrument or do you sing?
Currently I'm learning how to play the piano, which is also helping me, in making music through like Logic Pro or FL Studio, learning the fundamentals in making music.
All right, so let's break this down. If you could only choose cooking or clothing, because I think music is a hobby right now for you. I think that's hobby level, and it's very good for you. It's personal, and it's creative in form. But I think the clothing, I think you wanting to work for yourself is really the dream. Eventually, you want to work for just you, right?
Yes.
So if you could only choose, and I'm not making you, but let's just play this out. If you could only choose to be successful as an entrepreneur, running your own business, whether Shopify is where we start, which I love the idea of starting small and growing it. And so clothing design or cooking, maybe being an executive chef one day. Which of those would you choose if you could only choose one?
I'd choose clothing.
Why?
Honestly, because I've actually, I recently, I think in about 3-4 months ago, I started a Shopify store, and I have some designs on there. I haven't made any, sales, but I've gotten to about 116 sessions, and I only need about 430 to start making my first sale.
Well, I think you should keep doing that, but I also think at 18, almost 19, it would do you well to spend some time getting in the industry and working for a designer or a clothing company where maybe you're not in design, but maybe you get in the building doing phone sales, right? Now you're in the building. Then you move from phone sales over to creative marketing. And I don't care how you get in. My point is you're either working for a major department store company, a clothing company, any kind of brand, doesn't matter. Because at this age, you can take any entry-level job that gets you in the building. Then you're in the same cafeteria with the lead designer. You, sir, need my book, The Proximity Principle, and I'm going to give you a copy right now. And I want you to go get in the field of clothing design. I don't care what you're doing. You could be a receptionist for all I care. You get in the industry. Then you make the connections. You get some experience. You can keep doing your Shopify thing on the side, by the way.
True.
None of this that I'm telling you to do stops you from doing that. And so you're getting your chops and you're getting better at it and you're trying things because your livelihood doesn't depend on it. And you get paid to learn the clothing industry. And then over time, you move into where you're getting paid to hopefully design. And then maybe you branch off and do your own thing one day. To me, that's the path for you. And I think you should go all in because you're 18. Now's the time to go all in. You're never going to be 18 again. Go for it. So hang on the line. Amanda, let's give him a copy of the Proximity Principle, whatever format that he wants. Kyle, you got this. I want you to read the book and do exactly what I tell you to do. It works every time. Every time. Hey, before I let you go, remember this. You matter and you do have what it takes. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.